world is full of dark stories of demonic creatures, from a two-headed demon with a split personality to a skinless beast that breathes disease. I am Dr. Nebula, and this is my scary top 10. Number 10. Beast of Bodmin Moor. We start our list off with England's finest phantom, heading down south to the county of Cornwall and taking a leisurely stroll across the 80 square mile granite moorland. But be warned, because you are trespassing. This is the beast's domain, and you can be sure it knows you are there. The beast in question is none other than the Beast of Bodmin Moor, said to be a phantom wildcat resembling a panther that wanders these charming Cornish hillsides. There have been countless sightings of the beast each year, and reports of slain livestock are occasionally made by local farmers. One theory suggests that large cats could have been illegally imported into Britain and released into the wild, but locals rubbish these claims. The threat of a large cat prowling the moors was taken so seriously that in 1995 the government ordered an official investigation into the Beast of Bodmin Moor, and although the report concluded that they found no evidence of the phantom cat living there, it also carefully stated that there was no evidence against it either. So, if you ever decide to hunt this legendary beast, stick to the paths, don't get lost. Never wander the moors at night, and remember, the hunter can quite easily become the hunted. Number 9. Drop Bear. For number 9, we need to head down under to the Australian outback to say g'day to the drop bear. Legend has it that these carnivorous marsupials drop down from trees onto their prey, taking them by surprise and usually stunning them enough to produce that one fatal bite to the neck. These large dog-sized demon koalas then drag their prey back up into the trees where they are savagely devoured. It is advised that when walking in the outback to follow the advice given on the Australian Museum website about how to repel such drop bear attacks. This disturbing video shows a drop bear attack. I will leave the link in the description for you to watch it all. Beware, beware of the drop bear. Number 8. Banshee. We travel back over to the west now, to Ireland, home of the wailing spirit, the banshee. Said to be an omen of death, the banshee can be found wandering nearby to someone who is about to die. She is said to let out a cry so mournful that it's unlike any other sound on earth. Some say that certain death will come to whoever hears her bellowing cry within the silence of the night. Sometimes she stands at the door of those who are marked for death and lets out her unearthly high-pitched shriek of sadness. Her appearance is that of an old, wrinkled, crouching hag with long, matted hair and a grey cloak over a green dress. Some people will tell you that the banshee only cries for those of great importance, whilst others say that anyone can be the focus of her deadly wail. One thing that both sides agree on is that having a banshee crying at your door in the dead of night will certainly be the last sound you ever hear. Number 7. Kishi. For number 7, we travel to Angola, a southern African nation with a strong Portuguese influence and an even stronger belief in demons. The Kishi, which simply means spirit, is a two-faced demon that lives within the Angolan hills. The demon's front face is extremely handsome, and it usually has a strong muscular physique to complement its looks. It has long, thick, well-groomed hair which serves two purposes. The first is to make this already dashing hunk even more irresistible. But secondly, it is to hide something far more sinister: its rear face. For the Kishi is said to have a hyena's face on the back of its head, with teeth sharp as razors and a jaw so strong that nothing can weaken its vice-like grip. Each evening the Kishi comes down from the hills and seduces young women, entertaining them with his muscular form and enchanting them with his looks. They agree to dinner back at its home, at which point it devours them in a ferocious frenzy. Attacks aren't frequent due to the Kishi's lair being so far from town, but if Tinder ever becomes a thing over there, then Angola will surely have a crisis on its hands. Number 6. Chupacabra. The origin to the legend of the Chupacabra is located in the northeast Caribbean Sea, Puerto Rico. Chupacabra, literally meaning goat sucker, makes number 6 on this list just due to the sheer amount of sightings of it and the widespread hysteria that it has caused across the globe. The Chupacabra is a reptile creature about the size of a bear, with a row of spines from the neck to its tail and large fangs to puncture its prey and drink its blood. The legend is actually quite young, with first reports of it only materialising in 1995, when 8 sheep were discovered with puncture wounds and completely drained of blood. This was the first time it was spotted by eyewitnesses. Since then, it has gone on a seemingly endless killing spree of livestock around the country. Countless reports of drained animals were flooding in, hundreds of sightings of the creature were being made, and fear levels were rising by the day. Although no human has been harmed by the Chupacabra, it's clear to see why one would feel threatened by its presence. Puerto Rico, home to tropical beaches, sun, Spanish influence, and the mighty Chupacabra. Number 5. Jersey Devil. Southern New Jersey and Philadelphia is the location for one of the most infamous legends in all of America, the Jersey Devil. Its appearance is nothing short of bizarre. A kangaroo-like torso, a goat's head, large bat wings, hooves, and a forked tail. There have been many sightings and photos of the demonic creature since it was first reported in 1735. Even Joseph Bonaparte, elder brother of Napoleon, claims to have witnessed it firsthand whilst out hunting on his estate in 1820. It is also known as the Leeds Devil, and this is the foundation of the legend. A resident of the New Jersey Pine Barrens, known as Mother Leeds, already has 12 children, and when she found out she was pregnant for the 13th time, cursed the child, claiming that it would be the devil itself. In 1735, Mother Leeds went into labour and had all of her friends and family present. She gave birth to a normal, healthy child on a cold, stormy night. However, within minutes, the baby had mutated itself into the demonic creature with the goat's head, hooves, and tail. It beat everyone present with its tail before flying up the chimney and into the Pine Barrens. The scary thing is that Mother Leeds has been identified as having 12 children from a will made by her husband the following year in 1736. I must say, this one has quite a compelling case to go with the legend. But one thing's for sure, New Jersey is definitely not on my vacation list. Number 4. Akari. Moving closer to top spots, we travel to India for number 4 to investigate a demon from Hindu mythology, the Akari, the feared spirit of a little girl who was murdered, abused, or suffered greatly and was left to die. Sometimes known as hill fairies due to their homes being high up in the mountains, these ghostly beings take the form of a young frail girl with dark unnatural eyes and a pale grey complexion. And the one thing that really makes the Akari feared is her love for human misery and suffering, especially in children. She comes down from the mountains at night, sometimes singing, dancing and even playing drums. And if you hear the Akari's voice or drum, then death is inevitable. She is said to cast a shadow of disease over people, which quickly infects their entire body and is highly contagious. Within minutes, disease will engulf the village. There are only two ways to protect oneself from the Akari. One is by wearing something red, like a red ribbon or red beads, and the other is to lay a circle of salt around the property or village. So, no matter how much your body wants to dance to that drum beat in the night, don't go outside, for an Akari might just be waiting. Number 3. Penanggalan. One of the most disturbing of all these creatures is found in Malaysia, a floating head with a thirst for blood known as the Penanggalan. By day, the Penanggalan is said to look like a normal woman, but by night it turns into a simple head with all of the body's trailing organs hanging out from the open neck. It is said that the reason for this abomination is that a mortal woman that practices black magic in Malaysia can perform a ritual whilst lying in a bath of vinegar with all of her body submerged except from her head. The vinegar shrinks her organs and allows them to be pulled out of her body during her transformation into a Penanggalan. When the transformation is complete, the head with trailing organs hunts down pregnant women and children, often hiding under their houses. She searches for their blood, and those whose blood the Penanggalan feeds upon will instantly contract a fatal disease that wastes them away. When the creature is done feeding, it will go back to the bath of vinegar and force its organs back into its body, ready to spend its daytime walking around as an inconspicuous woman. So, if looking for women in Malaysia is on your to-do list, it's perhaps advisable to avoid any with a charming fragrance of vinegar. Just saying. Number 2. Nuckelavee. Orkney, one of the Northern Isles of Scotland, has its fair share of myths and legends, but none that cause fear like the Nuckelavee. In fact, some locals still won't speak its name. A creature of sheer evil that appears as a half-man, half-horse, with no skin, displaying its thick black blood coursing through its bulging yellow veins. The man's head is 10 times larger than that of a normal human's, with a pig-like snout, a single burning eye, and a wide mouth from which a foul mist of poisonous gas would flow. Although the demon lived in the sea, he would freely walk the land, spewing his toxins and killing everything in sight: crops, animals, and people. The only thing that kept the Nuckelavee off the land was his fear and loathing of fresh water. It's easy to see why the Nuckelavee is one of the most feared creatures on this list. So, if you are planning a trip to Orkney, then this will probably be the only holiday that you will pray for rain. That's 9 down, and just one more to go. But before we see what's topped the list this week, I just wanted to thank you for tuning in. If you can do me the honour of subscribing and turning on the notifications, then I would be eternally grateful. By supporting this channel, it helps me to work on future videos tailored to what you, my viewers, want to see. How about answering the following question and leaving a comment below? Join me, Dr. Nebula, and let me take you to some of the darkest places known to man. Thank you. Number 1. Teke. At number 1 spot this week, we are travelling to Japan, home to hundreds, if not thousands, of legendary creatures and urban myths. None of them, however, surpasses the Teke for sheer terror. The Teke is said to be the ghost of a young schoolgirl who fell on a railway line where her body was cut in half by an oncoming train. She didn't die instantly though. Instead, she dragged herself to the train station where she came across an attendant, but instead of helping her, he just covered her with a plastic tarp. She died a slow and painful death. She now haunts train stations, lurking by using her hands to drag her torso around and making an eerie scratching sound. Some say she will chase her prey, and when she catches them, she will tear their body in half. She will first ask you where her legs are. If you reply, the Malaysian Railway, you will be untouched. But if you reply with anything else, she will give chase. Maybe the most disturbing part of the Teke story is that all those that have seen her have been told this story exactly 1 month before. Yes, this exact same story that I'm telling you right now. From myself and the Teke. Have a great month.